Hi everyone, and welcome back to Your Average Investor. Today I want to jump into a huge change that has come to my portfolio, and that was the decision to move the bulk of my investment away from Vanguard's platform and onto a new and exciting platform. Well, I say new and exciting, I've probably been with it for a while, but anyway. If you've ever wondered if your investing platform is actually working in your favor, stick around because we're going to dive into things like fees today and how that impacted my decision to move away from the platform. In this video, I'll share why I first started off on Vanguard, because it was definitely the right platform for me at the beginning. But I'll also talk you through the fee increases and the fees alone and how that impacted my strategy and rethinking my whole approach. If you find videos like this useful, or you're also thinking about stepping away from Vanguard, then please do drop a like on the video and also subscribe for all of my future updates, because it really does help me out. When I first started investing, Vanguard was my go-to choice. Vanguard has been around for years, so it gave me that security when I first started out. Like anybody, when you first start investing, the main thing you're worried about and you're thinking about, or I was anyway, was about potentially losing my money rather than actually the potential gains that I could see. So Vanguard gave me that security and gave me trust in the platform I was investing through. Another reason I fell in love with Vanguard was because of the super low fees, both the platform fee and the ongoing charge fee of all of the ETFs that I was planning to invest in. I started off investing in something called the Life Strategy 100. I've got a video that I've talked about previously. So I'll link it somewhere up above that you can check it out. Probably a bit out of date now, but have a look there to start with. And then I progressed on to investing instead into 6 ETFs. These were the S&P 500, the FTSE 100, Vanguard's FTSE Emerging Market Fund, Vanguard's Europe ex UK Fund, Vanguard's FTSE Japan Fund, and also the Asia Pacific ex Japan ETF. So those are all kind of the 6 that I now currently invest in. These ETFs provide excellent international diversification, and essentially the approach that I've taken here is to mirror the VWRL, but just for actually a far lesser fee. So it's saving me money on fees there and means that more of my money can work for me. Vanguard was well renowned for its low cost fees on all of its products and its simple approach to investing. Of course, all of these ETFs that I've now mentioned are available on a wide array of different platforms, which makes it even more important now to weigh up all of the different factors, including overall costs and the flexibility that it offers. However, over time, things started to shift, and then recently, or potentially not so recently anymore, Vanguard shook up their fee approach. The platform now charges a minimum of £4 per month, which means that anybody with a portfolio size of under £30,000 will be charged £4 per month or £48 per year. Now, at the time, I didn't have a portfolio of that size, so my fees were going to get jumped up by a significant amount. And even if it wasn't a significant amount, £48 over several years will really eat into your portfolio. As your balance then grows above £30,000, the same account fee of 0.15% was still payable to Vanguard, and that was capped at £375 per year. But again, you can still get that a lot cheaper elsewhere. So I started to consider, is Vanguard still the right fit for me? And I know what you're thinking, these fees, £48 here, it's not a massive amount, and you're right. But over a 10-year period, that's £480, and that's obviously going to increase as my portfolio increases, but we'll work with that anyway. We're talking literally thousands of pounds over the lifetime of the portfolio, just by a few basis points, really. So I really did have to kind of think on this really hard because I'd loved Vanguard, but it just wasn't really working anymore. So what's the alternative for me? You've got things like Lightyear, you've got Invest Engine, you've got Free Trade. For me, the best platform out there at the moment for an ISA is Trading 212. Now, when the ISA rules changed and you could have 2 of the same type of ISA across different accounts, I did have an ISA with Vanguard and I had an ISA with Trading 212. But in doing so, it did really make me question why on earth I was paying the fees from Vanguard's side when I wasn't having to pay anything over at Trading 212, or I wouldn't have to pay anything extra if I moved those investments across to the new platform. What I've done now is move everything across to Trading 212. Now, Trading 212 is a commission-free and fee-free trading platform, which is a market leader at the moment in terms of fees. The platform is incredibly user-friendly and packed with loads of helpful tools to help you managing your investments. One of the features that I love the most that's allowed me to combine my old Vanguard ETF portfolio with my individual stocks and shares portfolio is the pie feature, and this has allowed me to replicate exactly the allocation that I was looking for amongst my Vanguard ETFs, but also having my individual stocks and shares in in the same account, but at the same time in a separate place. So I've currently got my ETFs as a pie, and then I've got all my individual stocks and shares as individual investments that I add to as and when I want to. The integration has made it so much more easy to track my overall portfolio and optimize every pound that I invest. For me, Trading 212 is now the smart move for anybody who wants low fee investing. The platform's proven itself over several years now, and you can do everything that you used to be able to do on other platforms that charged you fees in a commission-free and really low or fee-free in most cases place. In terms of transferring the ISA from Vanguard to Trading 212, all in all, it took about 2.5 to 3 months. I started this process in January, so this January 2025, and it finally processed at around the Trump tariff period of time, so at the beginning of April, which was really interesting, to be honest with you. What this meant, though, is that I was able to actually transfer the individual ETFs from platform to platform, rather than having to sell out of my investments, wait for that cash to settle, withdraw the cash, and then reinvest the cash back into my new ISA. It also meant that it didn't impact my ISA allowance, whereas if I'd had to withdraw the cash and then reinvest that cash, it would have done. So Trading 212 does make it really quite simple to move your ISA across. If there's one takeaway from this video, it's to always consider your options. I sat with Vanguard for a long period of time, even after the fees had increased, or even when the fees hadn't increased, I was still paying fees on a quarterly basis. If I just decided to move that across to Trading 212, I would have saved not a small amount, over £100, which would have still been working for me away in my investment portfolio. But as it is, it's been paid to Vanguard for the privilege of having my money sat with their account. For me, Trading 212 is now one of the biggest players within the investing space, particularly within the UK. So it was an obvious decision for me to make in the end, and I'm really pleased with the position of where everything's at the moment. It makes things so much easier having it all in one place. The Pi feature makes it really easy to invest in fractional shares of ETFs, which again, you can't do on Vanguard for some reason. So it just allows me to take control really of my whole investment and do what I want with my money. I'd love to hear from you as well. If you've decided to move away from Vanguard with the advent of the new fee structure, or just decided that actually Vanguard isn't the right platform for you anymore, please do let me know in the comments down below exactly why you've made that decision. It might be similar to mine, it might be different reasoning. If you're thinking of moving across to Trading 212, or you've never started investing and want to start, if you use the link down in the description below, that gives you a free share when you sign up to Trading 212. So it'll give you a free share to kick off your investing journey, and I'll also get a free share as well, which will help along my investment portfolio growing. So thank you in advance if you do use that. If you've enjoyed this video, please do drop it a like. And as I say, the next few videos I'm going to put out will be portfolio updates. So I'll have a look at my Trading 212 portfolio, which will include everything now, which is a lot larger than it would have been when you last saw it. And also we'll have a look at my cryptocurrency portfolio, which is based on Coinbase. And at the moment, we're seeing a really nice bull market run. So collectively, both of those portfolios are breaching lots of milestones at the moment. So be sure to check out my future videos to see exactly what's going on and exactly where things are at. As I said, please do subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already, and I'll see you in the next one.